Alright, today I'm going to show you how to make some bent nails. First of all, delete the default cube. I'm going to add a cylinder, Shift A. Scale it, Shift Z to scale it on everything but the Z. Then scale it on the Z. I'm going to take this bottom edge and extrude it on the Z axis. So E and then Z to extrude. Then M, and we're going to collapse this. I'm going to go to face select and delete this top face. Select the top edge, press E and then S to extrude it outwards. Then G and grab it along the Z axis. Then extrude that up a little bit more, and then press F to fill that top face. I'm going to add a loop cut, Control R, and then just drag that up and press Enter. Then I'm going to take this edge and scale it outwards so we get more of a smooth transition. Bevel this edge a little bit, and then bevel this one. Control B to bevel and C to clamp it so it doesn't overlap. Alright, and I'm going to go back into object mode and shade auto smooth, and you can see there's this little strangeness going on right here. There's an extra edge, so I'm just going to Control X and dissolve that edge. Now it looks alright. Alright, I'm going to give these edges a little bit of a bevel as well. So Control B, just a little bit. And this top one as well. So if we tab back into object mode, it gives a little bit of smoothness around those corners. Alright, so this bottom edge where the point comes out, I'm going to just take that edge and I'm going to give that a little bit of a bevel too so it's not so harsh. Alright, so here's our nail. I'm going to give this a few loop cuts in the center, Control R, and press plus on the keyboard. And I believe it's the scroll wheel if you have a mouse. I'm just going to give this a quick material. I'm using a rust material from Polyhaven for free. I'm going to duplicate these a few times. Then we'll go through the process of some simple deformations to get a nice bent nail look. And make sure you applied the scale before you start adding modifiers. Alright, so I'm going to go over to the modifiers tab. We're going to add a deform, simple deform, and then set it to bend. And here you can see we get a nice bend already. I'm going to change the angle of it over in the properties. But we can go a step further. If we go and add a simple deform, set it to bend, we can isolate the shape we want using a weight paint. So go up to weight paint, and you can see it ain't doing nothing yet. So if we go over to the restrictions part of our modifier and go to the vertex and add the group, now it will affect how it should. Red is going to be fully affected, and blue is going to be not affected at all. And you can switch between these with control as you paint. Hold control to paint blue, and then just paint normally, and it'll paint red. And this is why we added all those loop cuts a moment ago. It gives it more of a smoothness when you do your weight paint. Increase the angle, and it will increase the deformation wherever there is red painted. So you can get some interesting shapes doing that. And apply the modifier to see it in object mode. All right, for this next one, I'm going to just delete some of these loop cuts. I'm going to leave 2 along the long part of the nail, and then Control X to dissolve the rest. And this will give it more of an angular look when we do our weight paint. So we go back up to weight paint. We can add a modifier, simple deform. Set it to bend once again. And you can change the axes as well between the X and the Y. All right, you can see how it's bent around those 2 loops that we left. We can add our vertex group up here. Alrighty, so for this last one, we're going to add a vertex group in the data properties instead of doing the weight paint. Right, so we add our deform modifier and set it to bend once again. I'm just going to select some of these edges. Then add a vertex group in the data properties, and then hit assign, and it'll assign all that's selected. And then we can reference that vertex group in our modifier. And here you go. And if you wanted to add another vertex group, you could. So I'm going to do that real quick. Just select some of these top ones just to show you. Add another group and assign those vertices to that vertex group. Add another simple deform, and we're going to add that vertex group in the restrictions. And now we can see it's affecting that top vertex group. We can change the angle so that way it's not so harsh. And it gives it a nice, really like janky look. Alright, and just apply the modifiers when you're happy with them. And there it is with the material. And that's just about it. Now you can add these to your projects. I hope you found this helpful. And thanks for watching.